grow in a big plant. So let me first introduce myself. I am a little tiny seed. Like you human beings have different parts, I have my different parts. Some different parts of me are seed coat, radicle, embryo, plumule and cotyledon. So let's begin with my journey. First, I will start germinating. The growth of a seed into a young plant or a seedling is called germination. When conditions are right, I start to take in water. As water is taken in, I swell bigger and bigger until the coat splits apart. Air can then get into me. So, the oxygen in the air helps the baby plant burn the food packed inside me. Burning the food produces energy. As a result, the baby plant uses the energy to grow. A tiny root grows downwards, whereas a shoot begins to grow upwards. The shoot develops and reaches toward the light, while the root system develops deep in the soil. The cotyledon later becomes the first leaves of the seedling. When the seed germinates, tiny leaves sprout at the end of the shoot, letting photosynthesis to take place. These are called foliage leaves. They give the baby plant energy until it gets its own green leaves to photosynthesize. The primary root grows longer and thicker together with the secondary roots. The leaves grow larger. Finally, more and more leaves grow and the stem becomes thicker and stronger. Now my germination is over and I will start to grow. Now my roots are growing below the ground to allow it to absorb the water and nutrients it needs. The roots also provide the plant with stability and support, anchoring it into the soil. Also the stem will get taller and stronger and the leaves will develop. The development of the leaves is a really important part of this stage. Once I am germinated, I need food, just like people and animals. To keep growing, people and animals get their food by eating it. Plants make their own food by using air, water and energy from the sun. This process is called photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, plant makes oxygen as a waste product which helps us breathe. Yoo-hoo! So you are dependent on me. So we are your best friends.
Now I am a mature plant. Now I will bloom flowers and produce fruits. Let's see how I do that. You all have seen trees full of fruits. Oranges, apples, peaches, nectarines, grape are all plants that bear fruits. But have you ever thought how of these plants produce fruits? Now I will show how pollination and fertilization take place in flowers in order to produce fruits. Pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma, where pollination can happen. In first case, it happens between pollen grains and stigma of the same flower. In second case, it happens between the pollen grains and the stigma of two different flowers of same species. Pollination can happen through many ways, but the main ways are wind, water and animals. Wind. Pollen grains are very light in weight, so they can easily float in the air and move to other plants. In water, when it is raining, the pollen grains can be washed away and brought to the stigma. By animals, animals like insects, birds and squirrels can transfer the pollen grain to other flowers. Have you seen honeybees gathering nectar from flowers? When insects like bees go from one flower to another, pollen grains in one flower can be stuck in the body parts and brought to the stigma of another flower. After pollination, fertilization will happen. After a flower is pollinated, each pollen grain which is on the stigma grows a tiny tube towards the ovules in the ovary. Then the male cells in the pollen grains can reach the ovules and join female cells or eggs produced in the ovules. This makes the female cells or eggs fertilize. This joining or the combination of male cells and female cells in a flower is what we call fertilization. Fertilization cannot take place without pollination. After fertilization, the petals, the stamen and the stigma fall off. The ovules become the seeds. The ovary becomes the fruit. Now my seeds are ready to disperse. Seed dispersal is the movement, spread or transport of seeds away from the parent plant. There are different ways in which seeds from its parent plant is dispersed. This happens in many ways. First is seed dispersal by wind. The wind is the natural and fundamental means of seed dispersal in the plant kingdom. This process of dispersal is mainly seen in those plants which bear very light seeds. Second way is seed dispersal by water. In this method of seed dispersal, seeds float away from their parent plant. These are mainly seen in those plants which lives in water or nearby the water bodies like beaches, lakes, ponds, etc. Seed dispersal by animals and birds. There are different ways in which animals and birds disperse the seeds. Few animals and birds are attracted to bright colorful fruits. They eat the entire fruit and only the juicy part is digested in their system, and the seed are excreted out in the form of dropping, which forms into a new plant. Fourth way is seed dispersal by gravity. Gravity is a force of attraction that exists among all the objects in the universe. As the fruits from the tree fall on the ground due to the force of attraction, they sometimes roll down to some smaller distance, get buried in the soil after a few days, germinate into a new plant. Fifth way is seed dispersal by explosions. Explosion in fruits literally refer to bursting with all its energy. In this case, as the fruits get ripened, it shoots out its seeds into the external environment. This type of seed dispersal is mainly seen in those plants having pods.
Now my seeds are dispersed and I became old. They will have rest for some time. This is called seed dormancy. Seed dormancy is defined as the state in which mature and viable seeds will not germinate even when exposed to favorable growth conditions. Dormancy is a resting stage. Seeds will only germinate when the conditions are suitable. See you later, everyone. Now you must got to know all about my life cycle. Even I became older now, so I want to have some rest too. Because tomorrow the sun will arise and I need to start my work. Wait. Don't forget, we give you oxygen and food. So grow more and more trees. And to make you healthy, you make us healthy. See you later.